It all started with a leak, a single line hidden deep in a secret message. But that one sentence was enough to shake a whole country. Captain Ibrahim Traoré had just 24 hours to give 90% of Burkina Faso's oil and gold. If not, there would be big problems. And the name at the bottom? Donald J. Trump, then President of the United States. He wasn't just playing politics. He was running a tough global business attack using secret talks. This demand shocked even people close to Washington. No talks, no deals. Just a clear order. Hand over almost full control of the country's new oil and gold. It wasn't a discussion. It was a threat aimed right at the heart of Ouagadougou. Sources say the message wasn't just sent. It was given by hand by a trusted person, a former U.S. military officer with American guards. It landed on Captain Ibrahim Traoré's desk early in the morning. The message was very clear. Let U.S. companies start taking oil and gold right away. Give long-term control of Burkina Faso's energy plans to an American-led economic group. Do it in 24 hours or face punishments, blocked resources, and problems from inside. This was not talking. This was a shakedown. Trump's words were direct, cold, and all about business. We saved you from terrorism. Now it's time to pay up. But Trump didn't expect one thing. The man facing that demand was not one to give up. Captain Traoré did not move. He called his spy chief, brought in his top military leader, and told them clearly, "Tell the Americans Burkina Faso is not for sale." By midday, the news spread fast. African media from Lagos to Kinshasa showed headlines everywhere. Trump demands Africa's resources. Traoré given 24-hour deadline. The world watched, and Burkina Faso held its breath. But Traoré was not writing a reply with a pen. He was writing it with smart plans and strength. For months, something big had been kept secret, hidden under the dry lands of northern Burkina Faso. This was not just a rumor. It was real. Huge, untouched oil reserves found by a secret team after Traoré took power. Russian engineers helped check the land. Iranian drones flew without being seen. North Korean tech teams kept the information safe. Everything was secret until the first drill started. Then satellites saw it. American satellites, French satellites, the eyes in the sky. Within 48 hours, U.S. spies saw strange energy activity in the Sahel. They tracked equipment coming from Iran and Venezuela. Secret messages hinted at a new oil path for the country. Soon, gold signals also appeared. Burkina Faso was already taking back its gold mines. They quietly removed French companies and put national military groups in their place. The money no longer went to Paris. It was sent to a local development fund. Washington understood exactly what this meant. Here was a country with oil and gold, not run by Wall Street, not answering to Paris, not asking the IMF for help. Instead, it was supported by its own people, its own army, its own ideas. That was not just going against them. That was a plan. And that scared them a lot. They didn't just want the oil. They wanted to stop this idea before Mali, Niger, Chad, or Congo got any similar ideas. That's when the phone calls started from big oil companies and powerful people in Washington, asking the same question. How do we stop this before it becomes another Libya? But this time, owned by Africans. Their answer, send Trump, send the threat, force Traoré to give in. But the man they chose, he doesn't give in. When the message reached Ouagadougou, it wasn't polite. It was full of pride, the language of an empire pretending to be business. Trump's team gave it like a business deal, but it was not a talk. It was forcing them. The demands were in a 7-page paper called Confidential Strategic Resource Acquisition Framework. But the words were very clear. 90% of Burkina Faso's oil would go to U.S. oil companies for stability and building. Control of all main gold export routes would go to U.S.-approved groups. An American group would watch over all new mining deals and how money was shared. In return, there were promises of military help, tech sharing, and protection from a change in government. Yes, you read that right. Protection from a change in government. A hidden threat in nice words. The message, obey us or fall. And at the top of the paper, in thick red ink, one handwritten note. Traoré has 24 hours. It was not just old-style control of money. It was a new, direct, and bold way of taking over. Back in Washington, the leaders tried to act calm. They said Trump was acting alone, not as part of official U.S. policy. But secretly, no one stopped him. Because deep down, Trump was just saying what they had all thought for years. We don't care who runs Africa, as long as we control what's under the ground. But Captain Ibrahim Traoré got the message clearly. And he had already decided. No foreign power will tell our land what to do. If this was a power game, Traoré was ready. Not as a small piece, but as a leader, a free man for a free country. And Trump, he just threatened the wrong soldier. When that demand landed in Burkina Faso's war room, Traoré did not move. He read the letter calmly, twice. Then he put it aside, stood up and said simply, "So that's their price for peace? Slavery in a suit and tie." He did not wait. He did not hesitate. He started a fire. They want 90% of our future? Then they'll get 100% of our fight. He did not call Paris. He did not call Washington. He called the leader of the Special Force for Freedom, a secret military group made for exactly this kind of moment. Orders were given fast. Lock down every oil field, double security on gold convoys, stop all data to foreign companies, get national TV ready. A statement was coming. By noon, the whole country was watching. The screen went black. Then came a live picture. No fancy studio, no smooth production. Just Traoré in uniform, one hand on the Burkina Faso flag, the other on a folder marked "Confidential U.S. Threat." His voice was calm. His look was sharp. To the people of Burkina Faso and to our African brothers and sisters, an offer has been made to sell our oil, to sell our gold, to sell our honor in exchange for fear. He stopped. The room held its breath. To those behind this insult, to Mr. Trump and his supporters, you have judged us wrongly. We are not Libya. We are not Iraq. We are not your playground. We will never trade our land for your luxury. We will never bow to your bullets or your banks. You gave us 24 hours. Here's our answer. You now have 24 hours to take your greed, your threats, and your pride and leave African soil. He stood, saluted, and walked off screen. No questions, no deals, no backing down. While Traoré's speech lit up Africa, causing cheers from Dar es Salaam to Dakar, another storm was quietly forming behind the scenes. In oil company offices and spy agencies, panic hit. Urgent calls went out. Alarms started ringing. Traoré did not give in. He spoke to the public. That was the problem. If Burkina Faso could say no and win, what would stop Mali, Niger, Chad, or Congo from doing the same? So the pressure quickly grew. CIA agents started appearing more often in West Africa. Spy drones flew closer over Burkina Faso's oil fields and gold routes. Social media quickly filled with bad stories, calling Traoré unstable, crazy, even mentally sick. And near the Ghana border, private workers linked to a known spy company were seen moving in. The message from Washington was clear. This ends now. But Traoré's answer had already spread across the continent. Africa is not yours to buy. Their goal was to cause problems from inside. Meanwhile, big Western news networks suddenly started saying the same thing. Burkina Faso's money problems could cause a human crisis. Experts warned Traoré was leading his country to ruin. But inside Burkina Faso, the opposite was happening. More people joined to help guard the oil fields. The fight was not just military. It was cultural, from the people and growing fast. University students taught about freedom and who owns resources. Women's groups brought food and supplies to soldiers guarding the gold mines. And every time a big news channel showed a bad story, young people did not get angry. They laughed. Then they shared it with the words, "If they hate him this much, he must be doing something right." Captain Ibrahim Traoré understood something very important. The real enemy was not just Trump. It was the whole system, the global machine of banks, oil companies, spy groups, and news empires that had taken from Africa for many years. And now that machine had fully turned against one man because he dared to do the impossible. He said no and meant it. Burkina Faso was under attack politically, financially, digitally. But Traoré was not alone. Just days after he said no to Trump's demand, 3 military planes landed in Ouagadougou. No bombs, no weapons, just brothers. From Mali came Colonel Assimi Goïta, quiet and strong. From Niger, General Abdourahmane Tiani, with eyes full of fire. And from Guinea, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, walking tall. No apologies, no suits, no diplomats, no foreign bosses. They walked into the presidential palace side by side. And when they came out, they stood next to Traoré for the world to see. Then came the words that shook the continent. If you touch Burkina Faso, you touch all of us. This was not just a statement. It was a new rule. Africa's answer to NATO, the Alliance of Sahel States, AS Shield. Mali sent experienced soldiers to protect oil fields. Niger sent supply teams to work in the desert. Guinea opened its airspace for emergency supplies. And they were not just fighting on the ground. They fought online. ES-backed news groups started a full attack, showing Western false information, highlighting the truth behind the resource war, filling social media with one message: our resources, our future, our fight. The effect could not be stopped. In Bamako, crowds filled the streets to support Traoré. In Conakry, pictures went up showing him standing on oil barrels, waving the Burkina Faso flag high. Even in Chad and the Central African Republic, youth groups shouted, AES or death. Back in the West, spy agencies tried to keep up. But they missed one key thing. This was not just about Burkina Faso anymore. This was a wall built by all of Africa. And Traoré was not going back. He was moving forward, supported by a bond made not in agreements, but in war, betrayal, and the shared dream of true African freedom. While Western powers were angry and confused, 2 big global powers were already making their move. Quietly, smartly, with no apologies. China and Russia did not come with threats. They came with something much stronger: support, technology, and a message Captain Traoré would never forget. You are not alone. Just 72 hours after Trump's demand was in the news, a quiet Chinese group landed in Ouagadougou. No cameras, no drama. Just engineers, diplomats, and one big offer: a fully working oil refinery built in 90 days. Gold valuing systems that completely cut out Western banks. And most importantly, a digital trade system run by China's digital money, avoiding both the old French money and the US dollar completely. Burkina Faso would not just own its oil and gold. It would control every step of how it was used. And Russia was right behind them. The very next day, a Russian military plane landed at a safe airport. On board were advanced electronic war tools and many unmarked boxes labeled specialized defense assets. This meant Burkina Faso's oil fields were now safe with Russian anti-drone systems. Washington was shocked. News channels called it a dangerous new team. The US government said Traoré was selling out to dictators. But in Africa, no one cared what the West thought. Because to the people, Traoré was not giving in. He was fighting back. To them, China and Russia were not invaders. They were tools. And the AES, that was the future, one without old colonial ties. At this point, Traoré had done what no one thought possible. He said no to a US demand. He showed a global grab for resources. And he brought China, Russia, and half of West Africa to his side. In the US, the news went crazy. News channels showed big red signs. Burkina Faso threatens US plans. Other news channels went into full panic mode. Traoré must be stopped. Experts quickly filled TV shows. Former spies, oil bosses, retired generals, all saying one word: dangerous. They called him crazy, a dictator, a puppet of Russia, the next Gaddafi. But the internet was not buying it. Social media exploded. Hashtags like #Lajosatry and #AfricaIsNotForSale spread fast. We are all Burkina, people said. African creators filled YouTube and Instagram with videos praising his strong stand. Even Black Americans joined in. This man just told Trump, over my dead body, and lived to talk about it. That's leadership. Pay attention. Back in Burkina Faso, the young people fought back in their own way. They took scary news clips and made them into protest songs. They wore shirts that said, if CNN hates you, you're doing something right. Traoré had stopped being just a president. He had become a symbol, a popular idea, a movement. Even a big magazine had to notice. Their next online cover, "The Man America Can't Bully," inside Traoré's African Uprising. But with fame came danger. The more Traoré's name was in the news, the more threats appeared. Private spy companies started online attacks. Social media robots filled sites with fake scandals and bad stories. In Washington, whispers of changing the government started again. But none of it mattered, because the people saw what was happening. And Traoré, he had broken the rules. He was not supposed to fight back. He was not supposed to live. And he was definitely not supposed to become so popular online. Yet here he was, a 35-year-old soldier from Ouagadougou, more popular than most Western presidents. No PR team, no rich backers. Just truth, courage, and oil. Time was running out. The world watched, waiting. Would Traoré open the doors to American oil companies and ask for mercy? Instead, as the 24-hour deadline passed, Traoré made his boldest move yet. In the early hours of the morning, Burkina Faso's National Assembly held a secret meeting. Under Traoré's direct orders, they passed a historic decision. All oil and gold in Burkina Faso are now owned by the nation and forever protected from all foreign company ownership. The paper was signed. By sunrise, every Western company still working in Burkina Faso got the same message. Pack your bags, you're done here. Licenses held by French and Canadian mining companies were taken away. A US-backed energy survey team was escorted to the border. Foreign diplomats were told clearly, Burkina Faso's resources are not for discussion. Then Traoré appeared on national television. No military gear, no weapons. Just traditional Burkina Faso clothes and a voice that was steady, clear, and strong. "We've been used for generations," he said. "Now that we've found our wealth, they want to take it back. But I'm not here to serve empires. I'm here to serve a people who've suffered too long." He stopped. Then he said the words that were heard from radios to rooftops. "Burkina Faso is not afraid, and I will not talk with thieves." Outside, the streets exploded. Drums, fireworks, dancing crowds shouted through the capital. He said no. He said no. He said no. Online, the movement grew again. Young Africans posted videos holding up fuel, soil, coins, whispering one phrase, "We protect what's ours." Trump's deadline had come and gone. The threat had failed. And Traoré, he didn't just live through the pressure, he changed the rules. For 12 hours after Traoré's strong announcement, Washington was quiet. No news conferences, no tweets. Just quiet panic behind the scenes. Nervous whispers in military rooms and loud alarms in oil company offices. Then it happened. At exactly 7:42 a.m. Eastern Time, Donald J. Trump broke the silence with a single tweet in all capital letters. Traoré just made the biggest mistake of his life. Africa will pay for this. The internet exploded. Reporters rushed for quotes. News channels became a shouting match. Markets in New York dropped as traders got ready for the worst. But in Ouagadougou, Captain Traoré did not move. When his helpers showed him the tweet, he reportedly laughed and said, "That's the sound of an empire losing control." Still, the threat behind the words was very real. Satellite activity over West Africa tripled. The U.S. Navy quietly moved 2 ships closer to the Gulf of Guinea. A U.S. military group gave a quiet warning about growing problems in the area. Burkina Faso's military did not wait. Anti-air defenses went live. Gold transport routes were locked down. Special forces went to oil fields and key places around the capital. ES allies quickly responded. Mali sent armored units across the border. Niger turned on air defense radar to watch shared skies. Guinea dropped a big surprise. A joint quick response agreement promising immediate action for any foreign attack on Burkina Faso. But what happened next shocked the world. This was not just about governments anymore. Everyday people across the continent rose up. In Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, Senegal, thousands filled the streets outside U.S. embassies. These were not normal protests. They were warnings. Signs read, "Touch Traoré and you touch all of us. Africa is not your minefield. Keep your democracy. We'll keep our dignity." Back in Washington, Trump was reportedly very angry that his pressure plan was not working. But the final blow did not come from a government. It came from a video, just 43 seconds long, posted by Traoré. It went global in hours. Looking straight into the camera, calm and strong, he said, "This is not just about oil. This is not just about gold. This is about the soul of Africa. And I would rather die standing than live kneeling." Within 24 hours, the video was shared over 12 million times. Former African presidents started speaking out, breaking years of silence. One by one, they called Traoré the start of a new time, a new kind of leader. The world held its breath. But for Africa, it was the first deep breath of freedom in a very, very long time.